What if the Bears draft Caleb Williams? The media has already made up their mind. Every single news outlet, mock draft, and reporter are all saying the same thing. Caleb Williams will be a Chicago Bear, and a Justin Fields trade is inevitable. It's nearly impossible to find anyone other than Peter King that believes the Bears aren't taking Caleb Williams. Everybody in the media is saying the same thing. And I get told about 100 times every single day that it's over, Swift. Justin is getting traded and Caleb is our new quarterback. The problem with this is the national media hasn't gotten anything right about the Bears since we hired Ryan Poles. Think about it. Initially, they had us taking Bryce Young last year. Then it was Jalen Carter. They told us we were going after Jawan Taylor and Orlando Brown in free agency. They clowned us for trading for Montez Sweat mid-season. Nobody predicted we'd sign Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards. I didn't see a single person other than me lock in on Darnell Wright last year before the draft. The national media is just lost when it comes to what Ryan Poles is going to do. They haven't been on the same page as him throughout this entire rebuild. But for some reason, everyone thinks they know what Ryan Poles is going to do now. So today I wanted to take a minute to talk about the likelihood of us drafting Caleb Williams, and if Ryan Poles chooses to go down that route, what happens next. Unlike a lot of media and some content creators, I do not think I'm smarter than Ryan Poles. The question was actually posed to me on Twitter by my guy Kiyu. He said, what if Ryan Poles drafts Caleb Williams? Let me give you some backstory. This happened a few weeks back, and it was in a reference to a statement about the Chicago Bears continuing to do the same thing. The Bears pretty much have a never-ending cycle of drafting a quarterback when they have a lame duck head coach, and then having that rookie have to learn a new system in year 2. They did it with Rex Grossman, Mitch Trubisky, and Justin Fields, and if we draft a quarterback again this year, we could potentially be doing the same thing. It's nonsense. Imagine if we draft Caleb Williams. What happens if he struggles his rookie year? Does Matt Eberflus get fired if this team doesn't reach expectations? And then Caleb is learning a new offense in year 2? Do his fans turn on him? Do the Bears blame Shane Waldron? How many people would wonder, why didn't we hire Cliff Kingsbury if we were going to take Caleb? Why didn't we get a new coaching staff if we knew this was the route we were going to take? Imagine that the Commanders stay at pick number 2 and end up taking another quarterback like Drake May. And then that guy goes on to win Rookie of the Year with Cliff Kingsbury, and we watch Caleb Williams struggle in Chicago. What if Justin Fields led the Steelers or the Falcons to the playoffs? What if we had to watch Marvin Harrison Jr. score 10 touchdowns as a rookie, but in a Cardinals uniform? My mind goes crazy with these possibilities. And just like Ryan Poles, I'm running them through my head daily. And there's just so many options on the table for Ryan Poles. I do not believe he has made his decision yet, but maybe he's closer to that now after meeting with Caleb Williams yesterday. I do want to make it clear that I'm going to be an instant fan of whoever the Bears select in the top 10. I love homegrown talent on the Chicago Bears, and right now, we only have one player on our entire roster who was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, and that is Darnell Wright, who was a rookie last year. Not a single other player on the roster was taken in the top 10. We have a chance to add 2 of those guys during this year's draft. We have 2 top 10 picks. During Justin Fields' first 2 seasons, he was the highest drafted player on the entire roster. He was taken number 11 overall. And even right now, sitting here today, he's our 2nd highest drafted player. But he's the guy most fans want to replace. I don't want people to get it twisted here. I love Caleb Williams. He's my number 2 favorite player in this entire draft class. I simply believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. is a safer choice and better for the Chicago Bears. I think Marv is as close to a surefire bet to be a future Hall of Famer as any player I've ever studied in my life. Passing on a guy like that makes me sick. But I'll make a counterpoint here. Passing on Caleb Williams, if he was the next Mahomes, would make me even sicker. So this decision is tough. I would not want to be in Ryan Poles' shoes right now. And I've never once believed that there's one simple path that he has to take and that he's locked into. He's said it every time. He's approaching this with an open mind. He's keeping his options on the table. I do believe there's a chance that Ryan Poles drafts Caleb Williams. I'm just realistic. And anyone who believes anything was 100% certain before the combine, I just do not agree with. Caleb Williams is a fantastic quarterback prospect who I've compared myself to Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray in my scouting report. Before I released my scouting report, I had not heard a single person anywhere on social media or the national media comparing Caleb Williams to Aaron Rodgers. Since I dropped my scouting report, I've now seen that same comparison by 5 different national media outlets. So for people who say I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams or I'm tearing him down, I'm actually leading his biggest comparison right now. I love his game. I think he's going to be very successful in the NFL. I've operated under how I make videos on this channel under the same premise for over 2 years now. Knowledge over narratives. Anytime I see a crazy narrative, I address it. But I've watched every single game of Caleb Williams' college tape, and I've not once mentioned him painting his nails, crying to his mom, or cuddling his dog. Yet I still get comments every day about, Swift, why are you tearing Caleb Williams down? I have not one single time tried to tear the dude down. I simply address the narrative surrounding him, the people overhyping him, saying that it's a no-brainer choice, the only decision, and that he's the best quarterback prospect to ever come out. National media guys have literally said they would take him over Peyton Manning and John Elway. That's just crazy. There are plenty of other people out there trying to actually tear him down, and just as many doing the same thing about Justin Fields. I'm not pushing any narratives here. I'm just telling you what I believe based on watching tape. But I did want to talk about one other thing today. If we take Caleb Williams, what happens with pick number 9? A lot of people are operating under the assumption that if we take Caleb Williams at number 1 overall, that we're going to draft Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers at number 9. The problem is I don't think either one of them will be there. I think if we take Caleb at number 1 overall, that we have to trade Justin Fields and trade down from number 9 overall to acquire additional draft picks. I think it's imperative that we acquire extra picks in this year's draft. We could acquire a haul if we trade down from number 1 overall, but today I'm operating under the assumption that we're taking Caleb Williams number 1. In that scenario, we can still get a bunch of picks by trading Justin Fields and trading down from number 9. The number 1 pick would be easy to trade, but all picks aren't easy to move like that. But I do believe the number 9 pick will be a very hot commodity, and it will be easy for Ryan Poles to move down off that pick if he wants to. To me, it's a really important pivot point in this first round, and there should be a handful of teams interested in moving up to pick 9. To me, if we take Caleb at number 1 overall, I think it's almost imperative that we then trade down from pick 9. I think some people just take a lot of what I say out of context. I am always going to be a fan of trading down in the NFL draft, and there is no bigger trade chip ever than the number 1 overall pick. You can get more value for that pick than you can any other pick or player in the NFL, period. It's just that valuable. Just think about that for 1 second logically. Think about the trade deals we can get for the number 1 pick. We could get 3 or 4 first-round picks in addition to multiple second-rounders as well. Is there a single player in the NFL that would go for that many picks other than maybe Patrick Mahomes? That's how valuable this pick is. This pick is worth as much as Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. But is he going to be worth 4 first-round picks in 3 seconds? Who knows what kind of deal we can get for this? That is the question you have to ask yourself. But again, I trust Ryan Poles. And if he decides Caleb is worth that, then I still want us to trade down from the number 9 overall pick, because acquiring extra picks is how you build sustained success. And we've never done that before. So if we do take Caleb number 1, I'm still a huge fan of a trade down, and I think the number 9 pick is a perfect spot for that. I just wanted people to know I'm going to be a huge fan of Caleb Williams if we draft him, but I do not believe it's 100%. A lot of people keep asking me, Swift, what do you think we'll do? Not what you want us to do. That's the thing. I've operated under the same premise the whole time. I've always thought that Marvin Harrison Jr. makes the most sense. I still think trading pick 1 to the Commanders makes the most sense. That doesn't mean that's the route that Ryan Poles goes, though, but I definitely still believe that can happen. I am not in the camp that is 100% sure we're taking Caleb Williams. I definitely think it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule that out, but it's not 100% no matter what anyone tells you. But I do believe we are getting closer to that decision being made. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be here covering it every step of the way. Please remember to hit that like button for me, and until next time, bear down.